Texas real estate used to be the ultimate flex. Houses vanished off the market in hours, neighbors compared bidding war horror stories, and buying anything with a roof felt like winning the lottery. Fast forward to now, and the vibe has shifted hard. Streets that were once construction zones are quiet. For sale signs collect dust, and Zillow alerts feel less like heartbreak and more like opportunity. What happened? Mortgage rates are punching buyers in the face, insurance costs are climbing like a ladder to nowhere, and inventory is stacking up faster than Buck E's beaver nuggets. The once unstoppable boom is stalling, leaving homeowners nervous, builders pacing, and bargain hunters circling like hawks. This isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet, it's whole towns feeling the slowdown. Coffee shop gossip switched from, "Did you see what the Johnsons sold for?" to, "Do you think they'll ever sell?" And every open house feels like a test of patience. Today we're road tripping through the Texas towns where the market is cracking. The good, the bad, and the wow, that's cheap, but why? Buckle up. Like, so the algorithm thinks I matter, and let's break it down. Ozona, Texas. Ozona calls itself the biggest little town in the world, and honestly, it's not wrong. This tiny West Texas stopover is where wide open skies meet houses that cost less than a Dallas down payment. Population, approximately 2,800. Median home price, $110,000. Vibe, windblown cowboy country with a dash of small-town stubbornness. Locals joke, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll get windier. This is oil field and ranching country where work can be steady during a boom or vanish overnight. The town sits right off I-10, so it's equal parts quiet and passing through, with a courthouse square that looks like it hasn't changed in decades. But here's the thing, $110,000 gets you a 3-bedroom home, a yard big enough for your smoker and your neighbors too, and silence so deep you can hear tumbleweeds scrape across the road. The catch? Summers here are oven hot, and the nearest Target is a road trip away. Picture a morning sunrise over mesquite trees, courthouse glowing in gold light, and pickup trucks lined outside the cafe. It's remote, rugged, and one of the cheapest slices of Texas you can still claim. Sweetwater, Texas. Sweetwater is famous for 2 things, wind turbines and rattlesnakes. And yes, they celebrate both. This West Texas town has turned breezes and reptiles into local identity. And if you can handle the quirks, the real estate deals are hard to ignore. Population, approximately 10,500. Median home price, $95,000. Vibe, wind farm capital meets Friday night lights. Locals joke, if the wind ever stops blowing, we'll all fall over. With giant turbines dotting the horizon, you'll never forget where you are. The town's economy leans on energy, ranching, and a splash of small-town grit. But here's the thing, $95,000 buys you a solid house with room to breathe and a mortgage that doesn't keep you up at night. The catch? The wind is relentless. Dust storms are a seasonal personality trait. And if you hate snakes, the annual rattlesnake roundup might not be your vibe. Picture tumbleweeds racing down Broadway, Friday night football lighting up the stadium, and the constant hum of wind turbines in the distance. Sweetwater is rugged, affordable, and proud. Perfect for anyone who doesn't mind their hair always in motion. Vernon, Texas. Vernon is the kind of town where everyone knows everyone, and everyone's business, but that's part of its charm. Known as the gateway to Texas, this spot mixes small-town friendliness with prices that make city buyers jealous. Population approximately 10,300. Median home price $87,000. Vibe, quiet prairie town with a rodeo streak. Locals joke, we don't have traffic, we have tractors. Vernon leans on agriculture, ranching, and its annual Santa Rosa Roundup Rodeo for energy. It's the kind of place where high school football is a community event and Dairy Queen counts as a Friday night out. But here's the thing, $87,000 buys you a house with space to stretch, a backyard big enough for your own cookout, and property taxes that won't crush you. The catch? Job options can be limited, summers roast in triple digits, and entertainment is mostly do-it-yourself. Picture a quiet main street glowing under a sunset, pickup trucks angled at the diner, and neighbors waving whether they know you or not. Vernon is affordable, slow-paced, and unapologetically Texan, the kind of town where life really does move a little slower. Killeen, Texas. Killeen is one of Texas's most talked-about military towns, home to Fort Cavazos, formerly Fort Hood, and a housing market that's finally slowing its roll. This city blends transient energy with suburban sprawl, making it a place where for sale signs can go up fast. And now, stay up a little longer. Population approximately 160,000. Median home price, $210,000. Vibe, military hustle meets strip mall convenience. Locals joke, Kiline's always busy, even when nothing's happening. With so many active-duty families rotating in and out, the market used to move like clockwork. Lately, though, higher mortgage rates and rising insurance costs have cooled things down, giving buyers more breathing room. But here's the thing. $210,000 still gets you a 3-bedroom with a yard, and rent stays more reasonable than in Austin or Dallas. The catch? Traffic can feel like a base exercise, crime is above the state average, and the nightlife mostly means chain restaurants and karaoke bars. Picture a city full of uniforms, trucks with decals, and new builds stretching toward the horizon. Killeen is busy, affordable for its size, and built for people who like a town that never really sits still. Lubbock, Texas. Lubbock is where Texas tech pride meets cotton country, and where housing is finally cooling after years of steady demand. Known as the Hub City, Lubbock has long been a magnet for students, ranchers, and anyone who loves a little Friday night football under the West Texas lights. Population approximately 265,000. Median home price $210,000. Vibe: college town energy with a side of cotton dust. Locals joke, if you don't have allergies when you get here, give it a week. Lubbock's flat landscape and wind mean everything, including your car, gets a light dusting of red dirt. The local economy is powered by agriculture, education, and a growing health sector, which has kept the market fairly strong until now. But here's the thing. $210,000 buys you a nice starter home, often newer construction, and the cost of living stays below the national average. The catch? That wind never stops. Summers hit triple digits, and nightlife means college bars or country dance halls. Pick your poison. Picture Buddy Holly murals, cotton fields stretching to the horizon, and tortilla tosses at football games. Lubbock is affordable, dusty, and buzzing with small city pride. Amarillo, Texas. Amarillo is where Route 66 nostalgia meets big Texan steak challenges. And yes, you really can eat a 72-ounce steak for free if you finish it. This panhandle hub is a mix of cowboy grit, roadside kitsch, and a housing market that's starting to ease after years of tight inventory. Population approximately 200,000. Median home price $210,000. Vibe: Route 66 charm with a dash of cattle town toughness. Locals joke, if the wind ever stops, everyone will fall over. Between cattle lots, open plains, and 30-mile-per-hour gusts, Amarillo is about as West Texas as it gets. Its economy leans on ranching, meatpacking, and transportation, which means steady jobs, but a smell you might not forget. But here's the thing, $210,000 gets you a brick ranch style with a big yard, low property taxes, and room for your grill and your neighbors too. The catch? Dust storms are real, winters bite harder than you'd expect, and the wind makes bad hair days a way of life. Picture Cadillac Ranch at sunset, neon diner signs buzzing, and a horizon so flat you can watch your dog run away for miles. Amarillo is affordable, proud, and unapologetically panhandle. Wichita Falls, Texas. Wichita Falls is one of those Texas towns that feels big enough to have everything you need, but small enough that everybody still shows up at the same Friday night football game. Once known for its oil boom, the city is now known for affordable real estate and a housing market that's starting to take a breather. Population approximately 102,000 and median home price $150,000. Vibe: small city comfort with military flavor, thanks to nearby Shepherd Air Force Base. Locals joke, we call it falls, but the waterfall is man-made and smaller than your shower. Despite the nickname, the city has a loyal following, a surprisingly lively art scene, and plenty of Tex-Mex joints to keep you busy. But here's the thing, $150,000 gets you a nice brick house with a backyard and a short commute anywhere in town. The catch? Summers are punishing. Tornado season keeps you on alert, and job options can be limited outside of healthcare, education, and the military base. Picture a city park with joggers at sunrise, kids at soccer practice, and neighbors chatting over fences. Wichita Falls is affordable, community-minded, and a reminder that not all Texas towns are losing their charm. Abilene. Abilene is where West Texas grit meets a surprising splash of culture. This mid-sized city has deep cowboy roots, but you'll also find murals downtown, coffee shops buzzing with college students, and a quiet sense of pride. Population, approximately 127,000. Median home price, approximately $180,000. Median rent, approximately $1,150. Locals joke, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. Summers are brutally hot, but the sunsets are worth it. The economy runs on Dyess Air Force Base, healthcare, and a handful of colleges, so there's a constant flow of students and military families keeping the city lively. Abilene feels like a big small town. Crime is moderate, traffic is light, and Friday night football still shuts everything down. The historic downtown is charming, with restored theaters and a growing food scene. But don't expect nightlife like Austin. After 10 p.m., the city sleeps. Picture this: a warm evening, neon lights flickering on North 1st Street, a train horn in the distance, and the smell of mesquite BBQ in the air. Abilene may not wow you at first glance, but it grows on you fast. Brownwood. Brownwood is Texas small-town life distilled. Friendly faces, sprawling ranches, and a pace that makes rush hour feel like a rumor. Once a thriving cotton and cattle hub, it now leans on history and local charm to keep things moving. Population approximately 19,000. Median home price approximately $135,000. Vibe. Western nostalgia with a slow sip of coffee at the corner diner. Locals joke, if you blink, you'll miss the traffic jam. And it's not entirely wrong. Most cars pass by in a polite wave and go kind of way. Brownwood gives you more house than you can shake a stick at, and your wallet will notice. The catch? Job opportunities aren't booming, summer heat hits like a branding iron, and sometimes the quiet gets really quiet. Picture this: morning mist over old oak trees, a pickup hauling hay past a historic courthouse, and neighbors greeting you like you're part of the family, even if you just moved in yesterday. BBQ smoke floats in the air. High school Friday night lights glimmer in the distance, and life moves slow enough that you almost forget the world outside Brownwood exists. Living big in small-town Texas, y'all in or I'll pass. Del Rio. Del Rio is where the Rio Grande meets cheap real estate and sun that doesn't quit. Border town vibes, small city charm, and a pace that's part siesta, part let's get this done. Population approximately 35,000. Median home price approximately $155,000. Vibe. Border town energy with endless sunshine. Locals joke, our traffic lights are suggestions, but the tacos are mandatory. The city gives you more home for your money, and the sunsets are basically free. The catch? Summers hit triple digits, jobs are mostly tied to government or retail, and occasional border news keeps things spicy. Picture this: morning coffee over a warm Rio Grande breeze, cumbia drifting from a neighbor's porch, and streets that feel like a postcard, with potholes. BBQ smoke, a stray dog trotting along, and families waving from porches make Del Rio feel alive, affordable, and just a little unpredictable. Living under $160,000 with views of Mexico. See, please, or I'll pass. San Angelo. San Angelo is where West Texas charm meets riverfront living, and your wallet does a happy dance. Small city energy, artsy touches, and more murals than stoplights make it feel bigger than it is. Population approximately 100,000. Median home price approximately $180,000. Vibe. Chill West Texas with a splash of culture. Locals joke, you might get lost looking for the weirdest mural, but never for tacos. Homes here stretch your dollar farther than a longhorn in a pasture, but the catch? Summers scorch, job market leans on healthcare and education, and the occasional dust storm reminds you who's boss. Picture this: morning strolls along the Concho River, coffee in hand, murals catching your eye, and friendly neighbors waving as dogs chase tennis balls. Downtown charm, local BBQ, and low cost of living make San Angelo feel like a hidden gem, even if your AC has to earn its keep. Living for under $200,000 with river views and murals, I'm in or not today. Odessa. Odessa is oil, wide roads, and homes that won't make your wallet cry. At least not too loudly. West Texas grit meets big sky living, with just enough quirks to keep life interesting. Population approximately 123,000. Median home price approximately $200,000. Vibe. Oil town energy with a touch of small city charm. Locals joke, the wind here isn't a breeze, it's a full body experience. Housing is affordable compared to Texas metros, but the catch? Summers bake everything, job market leans heavily on oil and energy, and downtown nightlife is, well, mostly honking horns and taco trucks. Picture this: a morning commute past oil pumps, dust swirling in the sunlight, neighbors waving while wrangling sprinklers, and wide suburban streets that feel endless. Cheap homes, roomy yards, and a strong sense of community make Odessa a practical pick. Just don't forget your sunscreen and a sturdy hat. Living under $210,000 with big skies and oil town vibes. Let's roll or I'll pass. Midland. Midland is oil money, endless highways, and houses that won't make your wallet cry, but they might make your AC work overtime. This West Texas city rides high on energy industry vibes, giving suburban life a dose of big money, small town energy. Population approximately 140,000, a median home price approximately $240,000. Vibe. Oil-driven boomtown with a surprisingly chill undercurrent. Locals joke, we don't do casual wind. We do full-blown tumbleweed tornado. Midland's homes are spacious, modern, and priced better than Dallas or Austin. But don't be fooled. Summers are intense, the job market sways with oil prices, and nightlife is mostly HEB runs and taco trucks. Picture this. Morning coffee on a wide porch, oil pumps humming in the distance, tumbleweeds racing across streets, and neighbors waving from manicured yards. Space isn't a problem. Yards, garages, and houses are generous. But dust, heat, and sudden windstorms are. Schools, shopping, and community events are tight-knit, so it's affordable living with perks if you can handle the West Texas sun. For those seeking a slightly different pace, nearby Odessa offers similar energy with slightly cheaper digs and bigger skies. Gainesville. Gainesville is North Texas charm wrapped around a small-town heartbeat, where historic brick streets meet bargain-friendly homes that make your wallet smile. Once a railroad and cattle hub, it now hums quietly with local businesses, schools, and weekly high school football rituals. Population, approximately 17,000. Median home price, approximately $170,000. Vibe, cozy small-town energy with Texas-sized practicality. Locals joke, we're big enough for a Walmart, small enough to know your neighbor's business. Houses here are surprisingly roomy, often with classic wood floors, front porches, and yards you can actually use. Perfect for barbecues, bonfires, or just letting the dog roam. Picture this. Morning fog rolling over quiet streets, a local diner brewing coffee strong enough to wake the whole county, kids biking past the courthouse, and lawns dotted with sprinklers catching the sunlight. Crime is lower than state averages, traffic is a breeze, and community events bring everyone together. The economy is steady, mostly healthcare, education, and small business driven, so job seekers can find opportunities without the chaos of a big city. Gainesville proves you can have space, affordability, and that small-town Texas feel without sacrificing practicality. Just don't blink, or you might miss the weekend parade. Plainview. Plainview is West Texas living at its simplest. Wide open skies, wide streets, and homes that won't make your bank account scream. Once a cotton and agriculture hub, the town now hums with quiet resilience, small businesses, and the occasional high school football showdown that commands the town's attention. Population, approximately 22,000. Median home price, approximately $135,000. Vibe, straightforward, no frills. Texas charm. Locals joke, we may not have traffic jams, but we do have tumbleweeds. Homes here are roomy and practical, often with big backyards, carports, and that classic brick and wood blend that screams Texas roots. For the cost of a small city apartment elsewhere, you can own a 3-bedroom with space to spare. Picture this, sunrise hitting the plains, morning coffee from a local diner, and the distant hum of tractors heading out to the fields. Crime is low, neighbors wave without hesitation, and life moves at a pace that encourages weekends outdoors. Jobs lean heavily on agriculture, healthcare, and manufacturing, giving residents a steady footing without city chaos. Plainview is proof that affordability and space still exist in Texas, where your mortgage doesn't dictate your lifestyle and the stars at night feel almost close enough to touch. Corsicana. Corsicana is a sweet spot between small-town charm and practical living. Historic streets, classic brick homes, and a pace of life that makes city stress feel like a distant rumor. Once a booming oil town, it now leans on manufacturing, healthcare, and a sprinkle of retail to keep things moving. Population, approximately 24,000. Median home price, approximately $150,000. Vibe, historic Texas with a touch of modern convenience. Locals joke, we have more pecan trees than traffic lights. Homes here often come with roomy yards, vintage touches, and the kind of front porches that beg for a rocking chair or two. For the price of a cramped apartment in Dallas, you can score a 3-bedroom house with character, and maybe even a detached garage. Picture this, morning light spilling over historic downtown, the smell of pecan pies from a local bakery, and neighbors greeting each other like family. Crime is low, schools are solid, and small-town quirks from local diners to weekend parades keep life interesting. Corsicana shows that affordability doesn't mean compromise. Here, you can own a home with space, history, and heart, all without sacrificing the simple joys of Texas life. Mineral wells. Mineral Wells is where small-town Texas meets natural charm, with historic bathhouses, winding streets, and the kind of quiet that makes you wonder why anyone would leave. Once famous for its mineral springs and health resorts, the town now trades spa visitors for retirees, remote workers, and bargain-hunting home buyers. Population approximately 15,000. Median home price approximately $130,000. Vibe. Vintage Texas with a splash of quirky. Locals joke, our springs aren't just mineral, they're practically magic if you like quiet streets and friendly waves. Here, a 3-bedroom house often comes with a yard big enough to host a barbecue or let the dog run wild, and the historic architecture gives every block personality. Picture this: sunlight bouncing off brick facades, the scent of fresh coffee from a downtown cafe, and neighbors who actually stop to chat. Jobs are modest but steady, mostly in healthcare, education, and small businesses. Summers get hot, winters mild, and weekends are made for antique hunting or wandering the nearby state parks. Mineral Wells proves that you don't need a booming metropolis to enjoy life. Affordable homes, character-filled streets, and a slower pace make it a perfect spot for those who want space, charm, and a little Texan nostalgia without the big city price tag. Big Spring. Big Spring is where wide-open West Texas skies meet surprisingly affordable real estate. Once a hub for oil and agriculture, the town now blends small-town life with a touch of desert charm, offering homes that make you question if you accidentally stumbled onto a steal. Population, approximately 28,000. Median home price, approximately $120,000. Vibe. Classic Texas grit with a slow pace. Locals joke, Big Spring isn't just a town, it's a speed limit on life. Here, a 3-bedroom home can come with a spacious yard, a garage, and enough room to park both trucks without worrying about neighbors judging your paint job. Picture this: dusty streets warmed by afternoon sun, BBQ smoke drifting from backyard grills, and neighbors waving as you drive past. Jobs are steady but mostly tied to oil, healthcare, and retail. Summers hit triple digits, winters are surprisingly mild, and community events are the heartbeat of local life, from high school football under the Friday night lights to farmers markets on Sunday mornings. Big Spring proves that affordability doesn't mean sacrificing character. Low home prices, open spaces, and a community that knows your name make it a perfect spot for those who want a slower pace, a bit of West Texas charm, and plenty of elbow room without the big city sticker shock. Sweetwater. Sweetwater is where West Texas wind meets surprisingly low home prices. Once a railroad and ranching hub, the town now mixes old-school charm with enough open space to make city life feel like a distant memory. Population, approximately 10,500. Median home price, approximately $105,000. Vibe. Cowboy nostalgia meets quiet suburban life. Locals joke, the wind doesn't just blow here, it rearranges your thoughts. Here, a 3-bedroom home can come with a front porch, a backyard big enough for a weekend BBQ, and a driveway where trucks outnumber cars. Picture this: dust swirling across streets, sun blazing down on colorful historic homes, and neighbors greeting each other as if they've known you forever. Jobs are mostly in energy, agriculture, and small businesses. Summers are hot and windy, winters are mild, and local events like the annual Rattlesnake Roundup give the town a quirky personality all its own. Sweetwater proves that affordability doesn't mean sacrificing character. Low home prices, open skies, and a community that sticks together make it a perfect spot for those looking for a slower pace, West Texas charm, and room to breathe without breaking the bank. Henderson is East Texas quiet with a hint of small-town hustle. Once thriving on timber and oil, it now feels like a place where life moves at the speed of porch swings and local diners. Population approximately 13,500. Median home price approximately $120,000. Vibe. Laid-back charm with a whisper of Lone Star grit. Locals joke, we don't rush here. Even the squirrels seem to stroll. Homes in Henderson often come with big yards, vintage charm, and enough shade trees to make summer bearable. For the price of a city apartment, you can score a full house with room for a garden, a workshop, or a pickup truck, or all three. Picture this: early morning fog over piney woods, the aroma of fresh coffee from local cafes, and neighbors waving from porches that have seen decades of Texas sun. Job options skew toward manufacturing, education, and service industries, while weekend hobbies range from fishing at nearby lakes to cheering for local high school football heroes. Winters are mild, summers humid but manageable, and the community's sense of togetherness is strong. Henderson is a place where affordability meets friendliness, and life feels slower, safer, and surprisingly full of character. East Texas living without the city price tag. Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant sits in northeast Texas like a town that refuses to hurry. Once fueled by agriculture and oil, it now hums along at its own pace. Equal parts charm and "you're in Texas, y'all" energy. Population, approximately 16,500. Median home price, approximately $135,000. Vibe, southern warmth with a side of small-town nostalgia. Locals joke, "We don't need traffic lights, we have common sense." Here, $135,000 can snag a full-sized house with a yard big enough for a barbecue or two, maybe even a basketball hoop for the neighborhood kids. Homes are a mix of classic ranch styles and modest modern builds, often shaded by sprawling trees. Picture this: morning sun spilling over historic downtown, the scent of fresh pastries from local bakeries, and the sound of pickup trucks rolling past. The local economy leans on education, healthcare, and manufacturing, but the pace of life is leisurely. Summers bring heat, humidity, and the occasional Texas thunderstorm, while winters are gentle, perfect for outdoor strolls. Mount Pleasant is a spot where life feels spacious, friendly, and uncomplicated. Affordable living wrapped in small-town character. For anyone seeking Texas roots without the city chaos, this is a place to linger, soak in the calm, and feel surprisingly at home. Gainesville. Gainesville sits in North Texas like a town that keeps its secrets under wide skies. Once a hub for cattle and commerce, it now hums with small-town energy, affordable housing, and a dash of quirky charm. Population, approximately 17,000. Median home price, approximately $140,000. Vibe, laid-back Texas with a sprinkle of historic character. Locals joke, "We've got more cows than traffic lights." And somehow, it's not an exaggeration. $140,000 can score a decent-sized home with a yard, maybe a porch swing, and enough space to finally try that garden you've been dreaming of. Houses range from vintage brick bungalows to practical mid-century builds, all with enough elbow room to feel like a slice of Texas freedom. Picture this: morning air scented with breakfast tacos and freshly cut grass, antique storefronts lining the downtown square, and neighbors waving like they've known you for years. The local economy leans on manufacturing, healthcare, and education, while weekend activities revolve around football, fairs, and small-town festivals. Summers are warm, sometimes brutally so, but winters stay mild, giving you plenty of outdoor days to soak up the sun. Gainesville is a town where affordability meets charm. A place to settle in, slow down, and enjoy life at a pace that actually lets you breathe. Paris. Paris, Texas. Yes, the one with the Eiffel Tower replica? Feels like small-town Americana sprinkled with a wink of French flair. Once a thriving railroad and cotton hub, it now offers homes cheap enough to make city dwellers blink twice. Population, approximately 25,000. Median home price, approximately $135,000. Vibe. Vintage charm meets quirky roadside Americana. Locals joke, "Our tower's taller than our traffic jams." And somehow, it's true. For $135,000, you can grab a classic two-story or a bungalow with a yard that's practically begging for BBQs, hammock naps, or a weekend cornhole tournament. The houses have character, brick facades, wide porches, and enough room to stretch out without bumping elbows. Picture this: Main Street lined with mom-and-pop shops, morning coffee smells mixing with freshly baked pastries, and neighbors who know your dog's name before you do. The economy leans on manufacturing, healthcare, and retail, while small-town events like parades, football games, and county fairs keep the calendar full. Summers are hot and sticky, winters mild, and the pace lets you actually enjoy the weather instead of racing through it. Paris is the kind of town where affordability and personality collide. A place to settle down, enjoy slow mornings, and wave to neighbors who genuinely wave back. Alice, Texas, the hub city of South Texas, is a place where affordability hits you harder than the summer sun. Once bustling as an oil and cattle town, Alice now serves up houses that won't make your wallet cry. Population, approximately 19,000. Median home price, approximately $120,000. Vibe, small town grit with a dash of South Texas charm. Locals joke, We put the ale in Alice because you'll need a cold one in July. And somehow it fits. For $120,000, you can snag a cozy ranch-style home or a modest two-story with a yard big enough for dogs, BBQs, or a weekend cornhole championship. The houses are solid, often with brick exteriors, classic layouts, and a sense of permanence you rarely find in big cities. Picture this: sun-bleached streets, palm trees swaying, local diners dishing out breakfast tacos, and neighbors who remember your name before your street number. The economy leans on oil, healthcare, and small businesses and weekend events. Rodeo shows, local festivals, and high school football keep the town lively. Summers are scorcher-level hot, but winters bring a welcome break. Alice is where affordability meets personality, a place to plant roots, enjoy slow mornings, and feel like you're actually part of the community, not just a number on a Zillow listing. Fort Stockton, Texas, a desert outpost with a big personality and even bigger savings. Once a key stop on the cattle trails and oil boom routes, this town now offers houses so affordable they make your bank account grin. Population approximately 8,000. Median home price approximately $95,000. Vibe: Old West charm meets desert resilience. Locals joke, in Fort Stockton the wind does your landscaping for free. And honestly, they're not wrong. For under $100,000, you can grab a modest ranch-style home, a tidy two-bedroom, or even a place with a backyard that feels endless under the West Texas sky. Homes are solid, simple, and built to handle the heat and dust that define this part of the state. Picture this: wide, sun-bleached streets, wind-whipping tumbleweeds across empty lots, local diners serving brisket with a side of history, and neighbors who wave as if they've known you for generations. Oil, ranching, and small businesses keep the economy ticking, while evenings bring sunsets so wide they feel like they stretch forever. Summers scorch, winters are mild, and the desert backdrop gives the town a unique, rugged beauty. Fort Stockton is where affordability, solitude, and desert charm collide. Perfect for anyone craving wide-open spaces without an inflated price tag. Levelland, Texas. A town as flat as its name suggests, but with real estate prices that are anything but steep. Nestled in the heart of the South Plains, this small town offers a surprising mix of charm, affordability, and that wide-open Texas sky you only thought existed in postcards. Population, approximately 13,000. Median home price, approximately $110,000. Vibe: Plains nostalgia with a cozy, small-town heartbeat. Locals joke, if it's not windy, check your tires. They might have rolled away. For around $110,000, you can snag a neat ranch-style home, complete with a yard big enough for weekend barbecues, a trampoline, or maybe even a tiny herd of goats. The neighbors won't bat an eye. The town thrives on agriculture, oil, and a tight-knit community that still knows your name. Picture this: wide streets lined with single-story homes, school football games that feel like town festivals, diners serving Tex-Mex and strong coffee, and sunsets that flood the flat plains with gold. Summers are blazing, winters are gentle, and the local pace of life lets you actually breathe. Levelland may not have skyscrapers, but it has space, affordability, and a sense of calm that city life rarely offers. Ballinger, Texas, a town where Main Street still feels like the heart of the community, and homes go for less than a used SUV. Nestled in the rolling hills of West Central Texas, Ballinger combines small-town charm with wallet-friendly real estate that's hard to ignore. Population, approximately 5,000. Median home price, approximately $95,000. Vibe: friendly, old-school Texas with a dash of quiet nostalgia. Locals joke, we measure traffic in cows per hour, not cars. For under $100,000, you can score a classic bungalow with a backyard perfect for a garden, a barbecue, or a weekend cornhole tournament. The economy leans on agriculture, oil, and a sprinkle of local businesses keeping the town ticking. Picture this: sun-drenched streets where neighbors wave from porches, local diners serving chicken fried steak that could double as a pillow, and wide-open skies that make every sunset feel cinematic. Summers get toasty, winters stay mild, and life moves at a pace that actually lets you enjoy it. Ballinger isn't flashy, but it offers affordability, space, and the kind of hometown friendliness that city dwellers only dream about. Coleman is one of those Texas towns where life feels like it hit the slow motion button and your bank account breathes a sigh of relief. With homes priced like an extra-large pizza, you can snag a piece of small-town America without selling a kidney. Population approximately 5,200. Median home price approximately $80,000. Vibe: vintage Texas charm meets quiet countryside. Locals joke, we have traffic jams if two tractors meet on Main Street. An $80,000 home here can get you a cozy ranch-style house with a yard big enough to host bonfires, barbecues, or an impromptu football game. Jobs mostly revolve around agriculture, oil, and small businesses that know your name, literally. Picture this: sunrise over endless fields, a gentle breeze rustling through trees, the smell of fresh pastries from the local bakery, and neighbors nodding from rocking chairs. Summers sizzle, winters are gentle, and the town hums a rhythm that lets you actually relax. Coleman may not have skyscrapers, nightlife, or traffic lights at every corner, but it has space, affordability, and a community that actually knows what your face looks like. Stanford is the kind of Texas town that feels like someone pressed pause on the world and your wallet quietly cheers. Houses here go for less than a used pickup, and for that price you get charm, space, and plenty of elbow room. Population approximately 3,100. Median home price approximately $85,000. Vibe: small town pride mixed with West Texas calm. Locals joke, the biggest traffic jam is when the high school football team drives past. A home under $90,000 might get you a classic ranch-style property with a yard that could host a hayride, or 20. Jobs lean heavily on agriculture, local services, and the occasional oil gig, so hustle is quieter but steady. Picture this: dusty sunsets painting the plains gold, the scent of BBQ drifting from backyards, neighbors waving while leaning on fences. Summers are sun-scorched, winters mild, and the town's rhythm is slow enough to actually hear yourself think. Stanford may lack city buzz or endless amenities, but it's affordable, tight-knit, and full of that West Texas heart that sticks with you long after you leave. Brownsville, outskirts. Brownsville's outskirts are where Texas charm meets bargain town energy. You can snag a full-sized home for less than a car in a big city, and your neighbors are more likely to share a recipe than complain about traffic. Population, approximately 183,000. City overall, outskirts quieter. Median home price, approximately $120,000. Vibe: border town warmth with a dash of sleepy suburbia. Locals joke, in the suburbs, your backyard is basically a small jungle with occasional roadrunners. Homes under $130,000 often come with fenced yards, patios, and enough space to practice socially distant BBQs. The job market leans on retail, healthcare, and cross-border commerce, and the sun doesn't do anything halfway. Expect it to be permanently dialed up to max. Picture this: palm trees swaying against a blazing sunset, tortillas sizzling somewhere nearby, kids racing bikes down streets where stop signs are polite suggestions. The pace is slower than downtown, but you get space, affordability, and the hum of life that feels both vibrant and relaxed. Summers scorch, winters are gentle, and local culture blends Mexican-American heritage with small-town camaraderie. Living here might not be flashy, but it's wallet-friendly and undeniably authentic. So there you have it. Dozens of Texas towns where you can still snag a house without selling an arm, a leg, or your soul. In a world where metro prices make a used car look expensive, these spots prove affordability still exists, just with a little sun, wind, and character thrown in. Sure, some towns come with quirks, scorching summers, ghost town vibes, or neighbors who treat turn signals like folklore. But for anyone willing to trade glitz for genuine value, these are the hidden gems that keep the dream alive. Which town would you call home if you could? Or are you sticking with cities that make your wallet cry in 3 different currencies? Like this video so the algorithm remembers me, and subscribe. Your ticket to affordable living inspiration and chaos in equal measure. Because at the end of the day, it's not just where you live, it's how much life and tacos you can still afford after the mortgage.